Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to another set of videos in which we continue to talk about Business Central. Today's video is going to be a little bit different than what I have been normally posting in terms of configuration. So instead of me configuring the environment, today I'm going to actually talk about the Microsoft certifications. After a long time, couple of years, maybe even 5 to 6 years, Microsoft has finally released a certification for Business Central. So as of uh, now, you can actually sign up, take the exam, and get yourself certified. So the purpose of this video is to actually introduce you to how you can schedule an exam, where you can schedule an exam, and what material Microsoft has provided to actually get you started from scratch in terms of learning modules, what you need to know, and all that information is actually provided by Microsoft. So let's start with the first thing, which is to actually Google Microsoft certifications. And once you do that, we can go to browse certifications. These are the certifications that are readily available for any functional consultant or technical person who would like to achieve a certification from Microsoft products. And you can see the list is a bit lengthy. For us, the only thing that matters in this case, or for this video's sake, is the Dynamics 365 Business Central. So we're going to filter through Dynamics 365, go on the Business Central, and we see two exams. Of these two exams, the difference between them is the beta and the non-beta version. If you're not familiar with the beta version actually allows you to provide feedback to Microsoft because they released this exam after 5 or 6 years of going into the Business Central practice or in the Business Central space. The Microsoft finally has decided to actually give this exam out to the functional consultants and ask them for their feedback. So I wrote the beta exam and I was able to provide some feedback to Microsoft at the end of the exam. So if you were to sign up for the beta exam, you can only give your feedback to particular questions in terms of if their difficulty level was too difficult, of course, or the questions didn't make sense, or they were too vague, or the answers were too vague, and you could have proposed a different way of doing things in terms of the question that was asked, or in terms of how you want to configure. All that feedback can be given once you complete all set of questions, and at the very end you get 20 minutes to actually give feedback on particular set of questions that you choose to provide feedback. Nevertheless, if you actually go into the beta version, you have all the information that you need in order to actually complete the exam and prepare yourself for it. So right here, it gives you a little bit of information and context on who can write the exam and what knowledge do you need, what learning paths you can take. So all of that is available here in this paragraph. As you go down, you can schedule the exam, and it says it's 165 USD. Obviously, prices vary based on the currency exchange. So when you sign up for an exam, make sure to choose the right country. There are few countries, specific ones that Microsoft has stated, that are not allowed to take this beta exam for security reasons, and obviously part of that is they don't want people to cheat on these exams. So there's a list of countries that you can go through to find out if your country is in that sort of category. If it's not, then obviously you can sign up, schedule for exam, and then pay the amount, and they will give you the details accordingly. So one thing I wanted to note here is that when you do schedule an exam, it asks you for your Hotmail account or Microsoft related account. So you sign in with that account, you pay your fee using a credit card, and either you select to do the exam in person in a room specified as a learning sort of a room that Microsoft has authorized somebody to conduct the exams in, or you can actually do the exam online. So all you have to do is have a laptop with you, and a webcam should work, the audio should work in which the other person can hear you, and You simply need to make sure that the area that is around you is clear, so no pens or pencils or paper or anything like that, and it is done by Pearson. So, and one of the two options that you can select when you actually schedule the exam. So they will ask you how you want to conduct the exam, and because of the COVID reason, I was able to actually do the exam in my working office instead of going to the test center. Below is the skills measured. So here Microsoft actually has given a feedback to the test or the tester in this case, and they want to make sure that you can set up Business Central and then a metric associated with each bullet point. So 25 up to 25% can be questions based on setting up Business Central, configuring the financials, sales and purchasing at 10 to 15%, and then performing Business Central operations is up to 35. So it's a bigger chunk here. And reason for being that for you to actually configure the environment, you first need to know how, from a user's perspective, how you can conduct basic operations. That would actually help you with advertising the platform to your potential clients and saying that this is possible in Business Central. You can also download the exam skills outline. So this is a bit more detailed information, a PDF file that Microsoft has given to their testers. So just for preparation purposes, here is a breakdown of what exactly resides within the space of setting up a Business Central. So creating a new company in cloud, using Rapid Start services for data migration. So that part of it is the configuration packages. Managing security, so user profile, user groups, permission sets, all these things that you should know and be familiar with how you can do that. Set up a core functionalities, reports, for instance, setting up emails and number series. Not too much of emphasis was given on this, but it's always good to know these things, even including dimensions. And moving down to the list as we go into configuring financials, so fiscal years, accounting periods, chart of accounts, journals, batches, and defining the purchase and payable setup. For instance, you should know the fields, how you can utilize those fields, and what fields reflect or links to which ledger entries perhaps. And the payment journals, for instance, how you can link that to the ledger accounts. And all these things are related and needed to actually do well on the exam. So if we go back, this is the learning path that was proposed by Microsoft. So there are a handful of modules within these learning paths. And if you go to show more, so you can see a bigger list. So in here, you can actually go through these learning modules and understand how to configure. So just to give you a little bit of feedback on my experience for an exam, it's a multiple choice. So that's one thing, but that doesn't mean that it's an easy exam. For me, it was a bit vague, but some of the questions were a bit vague for me, so I provided feedback. But this learning path actually tends to help to some extent, but if you actually have some experience working with Business Central and configuring, and some of my videos in the past can help you actually get you started. So with that, I hope that you take the step at becoming certified, and it helps you to become, or at least to get your step in the IT space if you're not too familiar with Business Central. So this certification will definitely open up some doors for you.